Greetings, bakers of all levels. Welcome to BuckeyeBloomstead. Today we're talking about the star of the baking show, flour. Flour, that humble pantry staple, is the backbone of our baking endeavors, playing a crucial role in the texture, structure, and flavor of our favorite baked goods. But did you know that not all flours are created equal? That's right, there's a whole world of flours out there, each with its own unique characteristics and uses. From all-purpose flour, the jack of all trades, to bread flour, the strength behind your lofty loaves, to cake flour, the secret to your tender crumb, and whole wheat flour, the wholesome hero of healthful baking. Each of these flours brings something different to the table, or should we say, the mixing bowl. So, put on your baker's hat and get ready to step into the world of flours and discover the secrets each one holds. The jack of all trades in the flour world is all-purpose flour. This unassuming package holds a versatile ingredient that's a staple in any baker's pantry. All-purpose flour, as the name suggests, is a generalist. It's not too hard, not too soft, but just right for a wide range of baked goods. The secret to its adaptability lies in its protein content. All-purpose flour typically contains between 9 to 12% protein, striking a balance that allows for enough gluten development to give structure to breads and pastries, while still keeping things tender and crumbly. Imagine it like a reliable old friend, always there when you need them, adaptable to any situation. Whether you're whipping up a batch of cookies, rustling up pancakes for breakfast, or crafting a beautiful loaf of bread, all-purpose flour has got your back. But that's not all. In addition to baking, all-purpose flour plays a crucial role in other cooking applications too. From thickening sauces and gravies to creating a crispy coating for fried foods, it's a real kitchen workhorse. However, remember that while it's versatile, it doesn't necessarily excel in specific roles. For instance, if you're aiming for a super airy and light cake or a chewy, rustic bread, specialized flours might serve you better. But for an everyday reliable option, you can't go wrong with all-purpose flour. So, when in doubt, all-purpose flour is your go-to choice. Next up, the secret to a perfect crusty loaf, bread flour. Now, bread flour is a go-to for many baking enthusiasts, and for good reason. This flour is high in protein, typically around 12 to 14%. Why does protein matter, you ask? Well, when you mix flour with water, the protein in the flour forms gluten, a network of interconnected proteins. This gluten network is what gives bread its distinctive chewy texture, and the higher the protein content, the stronger and more elastic this network will be. That's why bread flour, with its higher protein content, is ideal for baking bread. It allows the dough to rise and hold its shape, resulting in a loaf that's light and airy on the inside, but crusty on the outside. So when you're planning to bake a batch of homemade bagels or a crusty loaf of artisan bread, reach for the bread flour. Its high protein content will give your bread the structure it needs to rise beautifully and provide that satisfying chew we all love in a good piece of bread. But remember, bread flour isn't just for bread. It's also great for other baked goods that need a strong structure, like pizza dough or pretzels. So, don't be afraid to experiment a little and see how bread flour can transform your baking. Remember, for that perfect crust and chewy texture, bread flour is your best friend. Craving for a light and fluffy cake? Say hello to cake flour. Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty of this baking star. Cake flour, my dear friends, is the secret behind those moist, tender cakes we all love so much. You might be wondering, what makes cake flour so special? Well, it's all about the protein content. Cake flour is made from soft wheat, which means it has a lower protein content, typically around 7 to 8%. This is quite a bit less than the 10 to 12% found in all-purpose flour. Now, why does this matter? The science of baking tells us that the amount of protein in flour affects the gluten development in baked goods. Gluten is what gives dough its elasticity and strength, but in the case of cakes, we don't want too much strength. We're aiming for a light, tender crumb, and that's where cake flour comes in. With its lower protein content, cake flour helps to create a tender cake with a fine crumb and a velvety texture that simply melts in your mouth. But remember, every baking adventure requires precision. While cake flour is perfect for creating soft, delicate cakes, it might not be the best choice for chewy cookies or rustic breads. So, the next time you're planning to bake a cake, reach for the cake flour. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. For those soft, tender cakes, Cake flour is the way to go. Looking for a healthy twist in your bake? Try whole wheat flour. Whole wheat flour is a fantastic choice when you want to amp up the nutrition in your baked goods. This flour is made from the entire wheat kernel, which includes the bran, germ, and endosperm. This means that it's rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals that are usually absent in white flours. But remember, it's not just about health. Whole wheat flour also brings a unique, nutty flavor and a slightly coarse texture to your bakes. It's a fantastic way to add depth of flavor to your bread, muffins, pancakes, and even cookies. However, whole wheat flour is denser and heavier than most other types, so it's not always a one-to-one replacement. When you're first starting to experiment, try replacing only half the white flour in your recipe with whole wheat. This way, you can enjoy the nutritional benefits and flavor without compromising too much on the texture. Also, keep in mind that whole wheat flour absorbs more moisture. Adjust your recipes by adding a bit more liquid to prevent your bakes from becoming too dry. So, whether you're a seasoned baker or just starting out, incorporating whole wheat flour into your baking can be a game changer. It's a simple way to make your treats a bit healthier and more flavorful. Whole wheat flour, a healthy and tasty addition to your baking repertoire. Ever wondered what flour makes the best bread? It's a question that has puzzled many a home baker. The answer, my friends, is in the protein. The magic of bread making comes alive when proteins in the flour mix with water to form gluten. This gluten network is what gives bread its structure and chewiness. Now, the flour that rules the roost when it comes to bread making is bread flour. It's high in protein, usually between 12 to 14%, making it the heavyweight champion in the world of flours. This high protein content translates to more gluten, which means a loftier rise and a beautifully chewy texture in your finished bread. But don't fret if you can't get your hands on bread flour. All-purpose flour, with a protein content around 10 to 12%, makes a perfectly good loaf too. It's just that your bread might be a tad less chewy and have a slightly lower rise. For those who prefer a heartier, denser bread, whole wheat flour is your go-to. It's also high in protein, but the presence of bran and germ results in a denser texture. It's perfect for rustic, artisan-style loaves. So, whether you're a fan of a classic white loaf, a crusty baguette, or a dense whole wheat bread, there's a flour out there for you. A perfect loaf of bread is just a flour choice away. And there you have it, a quick tour of the flour world. We've delved into the unique characteristics of various flour types today, from the versatile all-purpose flour to the delicate cake flour and the hearty whole wheat flour. Each one serves a special role in baking, bringing its own texture and flavor to the table. Just remember, all-purpose flour is your go-to for most baking needs. Bread flour, with its high protein content, provides strength and structure to your loaves. Cake flour, on the other hand, is perfect for those light and airy creations. And whole wheat flour? It's the heartiness you need for rustic, wholesome bakes. Most importantly, we've discovered that when it comes to bread making, nothing beats bread flour. Its high protein content gives bread its chewy, delightful texture. So next time you bake, remember, the right flour makes all the difference. And that wraps up our flour-filled journey today at BuckeyeBloomstead. We hope you found our guide to different flour types as fun and informative as we did making it. If you loved learning about the secret power of flour in your baking, give us a thumbs up and share this video with your fellow baking enthusiasts. Your support means a lot to us. Haven't subscribed yet? Well, now's the perfect time. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. We have plenty more wholesome and heartwarming content on the way. Before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments below, what's your favorite recipe that uses flour? Maybe your favorite recipe will be featured in our next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, every grain of flour holds a story, and we're here to explore them all. Keep baking, keep smiling, and see you next time at BuckeyeBloomstead.